How's it going? I'm Jeremy with MS Videos, and on today's video we're going to be doing part 2 of the Ultimate Trigger Showdown. This is a review, literally just a first shots on some of the lowers that we put together at the range on Monday. We went over the Geiselle Trigger, the Timney Trigger, we went over a Mil Spec trigger, and then we went over an upgraded Rize Armament trigger. We also did dabble with the Elfman, but we were still having some issues, so we just abandoned that. I'm contacting Art again. Hopefully we can get this figured out because I want to give it a fair shake, and that's all I'm going to say on that. The Geiselle did not disappoint. A lot of fun to shoot. To be fair, we only shot about 60 rounds through each one. We didn't go crazy. I shot some, Tim shot some, and then Jeff, the owner of American Gunworks, also got to shoot a few and give his response. Geiselle definitely took the day for me. I was thoroughly impressed with how well it responded to input from me. It was a 2-stage trigger. It was a flat face trigger. It did everything that I expected a Geiselle to do. I just didn't know it did it so well.
So, Geiselle Trigger, let's talk about it. All right. Here's a 2-stage trigger. First, ooh, got me on that one. 4 pounds almost exactly, because that's 2 pounds and then pulls again. 2 pounds, 2 pounds. I like it. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. Tim, you wanna try it? Well, duh.
That leads us to the Mil Spec, which does everything a Mil Spec should do. It works. It fired every time. It reset consistent every time. Had about a 7.5, 8 pound pull every time. It was a little gritty. You could feel it. You can tell that they just don't put the refinement and the time into the finishing like they do with the better triggers. But it would be perfectly fine to grab and go and shoot, especially if you're shooting under stress or in an environment that promotes you shooting fast. It does a perfectly fine job, and it's a $40 trigger.
Now we're going to just a standard AR-15 with a Mil Spec trigger. Same upper, we're just going to give this one a shot. Let's try that 200 if I put that at the bottom.
Hit. Hit. Miss.
Oh, it's working. A little gritty. Let's see if there's any, there's a little bit of take up there, but it's not smooth and defined like the others, but it is there. That one surprised me. I was expecting a little more of a wall. That's why you keep your target aligned when you put your finger on the trigger. Right? All right. I mean, the Mil Spec's exactly what you'd expect. It works. It gets the job done. A little gritty, but it works. So if all you can afford is a Mil Spec trigger, it will work fine for you.
So with that said, Mil Spec did exactly what it's supposed to do. The upgraded Rize, again, Rize Armament, man, they keep creeping to the top of my favorites list. It had almost no take up at all. It was just there. You put pressure on the trigger, it breaks, it resets nice and audible, and fires again. And for half the price of the premium triggers, we'll call them, I would go Rize all day long. If that was my budget and I couldn't break it, I would have no problem running a Rize Armament trigger in any of my guns.
This is the upgraded Rize trigger. Safety off, gun is loaded and hot. I like it. Just gonna feel the take up. No take up at all. There's not a single bit of movement in this. I said there's zero take up at all. It is literally just a switch.
Is this the upgraded Rize?
Yeah, go ahead and try it. Like, I went to go and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and just see if there's any. And I did not feel a single bit of movement, and it fired.
And then we have the Timney, which was very butter smooth. It didn't stand out any more or less than any of the other performance triggers or upgraded or premium triggers. It just worked, and it worked great. So it will get another round. The next time we go to the range, we'll take that one with us just so we can focus a little bit more on it. But this is a first shots kind of a review.
This one does have the Timney Trigger. So we're going to give it a shot. I still have to check my zero, so here we go. Right off the bat, we're going to test that. Load one in. Talk about the trigger for a second. That's what this is all about. It's got a nice two-stage, clean take-up, 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, somewhere in that range. And you just squeeze onto it, another 2.5 pounds, so it breaks nice and clean. I like this. Yeah.
Got a long reset though.
It does. I noticed that too.
It didn't stand out bad. It just didn't stand out better than the Geiselle. So
I think the only notable thing that we had to say about the Timney in specific was that it had a noticeably longer reset than some of the other triggers that we fired that day.
that is true. And that is why you have a mic on, Tim. Timney did I noticed it was very, very smooth, and it had a very nice take-up, and all of that was great, but it did have a long reset. It is a little cheaper than the Geiselle or a couple of the others on this list, so if you want something better than just your drop-in triggers for the $100 to $200 range, the Timney's a great option. But if you really want to go all out and you want to spend that extra money, you can always go with the Geiselle or the Trigger Tech or the high-end Elfman. First shots, I'm going to start over right here. First shots. Here it is. Geiselle did not disappoint. Can't wait to shoot it more. Timney, buttery smooth, long reset. Less money than the Geiselle. Mil Spec, exactly what a Mil Spec trigger should be. And the upgraded Rize is just like you'd think it would be. It's a more expensive version of the 140 that performs just as good.
If not a little better.
If not a little better. That is the first shots review. We are going back to the range. We still have more triggers to shoot.
We recently added Hyperfire to our
Oh, yeah.
list.
Thanks for bringing that up. We did just add Hyperfire to the list of triggers we want to add to this review. And that is, I've been familiar with Hyperfire triggers for quite a few years. But when I was making this list of triggers, it didn't get on my radar until I saw another review. What was that guy's name?
Harleywood.
Harleywood. He has done some pretty extensive reviews on triggers. And I stumbled onto his reviews the other day when we were doing research for our own video. And his is very methodical, by the book. Here's the numbers, the raw data, take it or leave it. And I liked it. That's not what I'm trying to go for this video. But I thought he had a lot of really good information. So if you see this, congrats. That's you made me tip my hat to you. Is there anything else, Tim? Am I forgetting anything? Anything I should touch on?
Nope.
So now that you just watched a bunch of guns being fired, that was our day at the range. Part 2 of the Ultimate Trigger Showdown, going over the triggers that we just shot, which again, just to recap, were the Geiselle, the Timney, a Mil Spec, and an upgraded Rize trigger. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you have questions or ideas, throw them in the comments. We do read them. Not every day, but we do get around to it, and we do try and comment back. If you like our stuff, think about becoming a member. It's $4.99 a month, and you get behind-the-scenes footage, uncut, unedited videos we throw up just for our members. As a thank you, you get to see us being crazy and stupid. There is more. There's a part 3 coming. We have not shot all the triggers we have yet. There is more coming. On that note, I'm Jeremy. That's Tim. This is MS Videos, and we out.